whenever we start a research, we have certain research questions. Then from research questions, we frame research objectives. And in the last, what we are trying to do, we are connecting these research questions and objective with our results, and then we try to connect it with the implications of the research. These all are interconnected. If there is a no connection between the research question and the result, then there is a no logic, no benefit of doing the research. So there should be a connection between the research questions, objectives, and results. Okay, what you are trying to find in the last, you have find. That is the thing in the result. What is result? Result section is, it's nothing. It's just like your findings. Whatever you have find through the experimental research, what you have done, that is the result. Result section should not attempt to interpret or analyze the findings. That is the main important point. In results, your focus is just to present your findings, not to interpret or interrelate it in detail. Okay, you don't want to explain it in detail in the results section. Let me show you the paper again. Okay. Yeah, data analysis is done, measurement model, then method. After the method, they have included whatever the method they use. The method to test the hypothesis, they use cross-sectional design. Okay, so after the implementation of the method, these are the results. Like table 3 is a result. So it is a factor loading discriminant validity. It is a part of research methodology, but it is also result which come after the analysis of discriminant validity. Okay. So after that, we got a coordinated statistics, then table, effect size, hypothesis. This is result. This is the hypothesis. We are, and this is the path coefficient, t statistics, p value. Our H1 is supported, H2 is supported. So this is nothing. It is this no result. This is result. Okay. But when we are discussing it, when we are interpreting it, when we are writing about the implications and different things, then it is a discussion. So in the results, you will find mainly the facts, the tables, and the figures, and some explanation. Okay, it has description about the main finding of your research, whereas discussion section sorry, yeah, in discussion section interprets the result for readers and provide the significance of the finding. So that is the main difference. In result, we provide the findings, but in discussion, we interpret the result for readers and provide the significance of the finding. When we are going more into the detail, then it is a discussion. We discuss the outcome of our result. For example, you conduct a study on gender basis and do a statistical analysis of regression model. So whatever the regression table you got, that is the result. But when you interpret it in terms of previous research papers or future research papers, or you can say your research question in light of your conclusion, then it is becoming a part of the discussion. Okay. So what is the purpose of result section? The purpose of result section is it summarize and present the findings of the study. Okay, to put them in context with your research question. Always think that without a research question, we cannot have a result. Findings may be reported in written text, tables, graphs, and other illustrations. You can produce your findings in different formats. Only share relevant data and findings that connect with the goal of the study. Too much data may overwhelm a reader. Always remember that you have to show the data of your result which are connecting to the goal of the study. Too much data, if you are showing in the research paper, it will make your paper bulky and unreadable. Let me show you one example. Let's see, I take an example of one of the thesis, then you can able to know what is the difference, how to write the result section. My hard disk, my research. See, I'll share you one thesis. Just a second. Okay. Yes. So, see, one of the theses I am showing you that here in the thesis you will find this is a result section. Okay. In this, we are providing a table and the hypothesis and the some interpretation. Okay. This is our data analysis section. Tables are our result basically. Now we have done a lot of analysis, lot of tables, lots of work, lots of written material on data analysis, interpretation. So many things we have written here. See, it's approx this data analysis is approx 40 pages length. But when we are writing this in the form of result, we have to concise it. We have to make it small. See, this is a result. Okay, so many papers. Now take an example of a research paper. When we are writing this finding into our research paper, we have to make it small. Otherwise, our researcher, our editor will reject it because he find it illogical. Why it find logical? Because he think that this is not related to the general audience. Actually, the paper we are writing, it should be related to the general audience. If we are writing the paper to a specific, then definitely it will not be selected. See, in results, we write data analysis procedure, simple, simple table, simple table only, not write the whole thesis, and simply assessment. Simply see, only the tables are there, only the small summary is there in result. But when we are discussing it, we have to discuss it in terms of explanation. See, okay. So let me come on the topic again. So in results, we have to only share the data, but in discussion, be very much interpretive. So only share relevant data. An effective results section will present the finding of the study without the attempt to analyze it. Okay. How does results section differ from a discussion section? The results section of a research paper tells the reader what you find, while the discussion section tells the reader what your findings mean. It means you are interpreting the results. Okay, that's a difference. In result, you have to just report it the findings, but in discussion, you have to tell what these findings mean. What is the meaning of this? What's this figure tells you? The result section should present the facts in an academic and unbiased manner, avoiding any attempt at analyzing or interpreting the data. Okay. Think of the results section as section setting the stage of the discussion section by making all the necessary information known to the reader. It is not uncommon for these sections to be combined, but researchers will often use subheadings to distinguish between them. Sometimes you will find both the methods in a single heading on some papers, but you have to make it different using different subheadings or different paragraphs. Now the topic is how is results finding section structured? How we are structuring them? When structuring the result section, it is important that your information is presented in a logical manner. Logical means in a sequential manner. It does not mean you should put different figures, then write the something else. It should be in a logical manner. First, begin with the introduction to connect the result with the research question, then brings the reader's focus back to the purpose of the study after reading the literature view and method section of your paper. Okay? Second, present your finding in a structured way, such as thematically or chronologically, bringing the reader attention to an important, interesting, or significant finding. always represent your research results in a thematical or chronological way, so that the reader can easily grasp it and understand it. And always need to report whatever the important findings you have got it from the experiment. Always report it, okay? Because this is your USP, okay? Now come on the discussion section. So discussion section is one of the final part of the research paper in which the author describe, analyze and interpreting their findings. Okay. So as we have already told you that in this section we are making the paper understandable to the reader. Reader now able to understand your result in discussion section. They explain the significance of those results and tie everything. So what is the purpose of discussion section? The discussion reviews the findings and put them in context of the overall research. So whatever the findings you got, it reviews it, it discuss it in the discussion section. It brings together all the sections that come before it and then allow a reader to see the connection between each part of the research paper. Okay, so it is a connection link discussion. Discussion, what will we do? It basically analyze, interpret, and explain in terms of background papers also and your problem statement also. It is a connection between result and all these things in the discussion section. So in discussion section, the author engage in three necessary steps. The first is interpretation, second is analysis, and third is the explanation of all the results. An effective discussion section will tell a reader why the research results are important and where they fit in the current literature, while also being self-critical and candid about the shortcoming of the study. Okay. How is this discussion section structured? First, summarize the key findings from the research you already quoted in the research result one and link them to the initial research questions. Here also we have to link it with the questions, research questions, because we have to recall the reader. See, this was the questions and this is the solutions we are suggesting. So it should be a connection from the research question and the findings. Second, place the finding in context. This step will involve going back to the literature review section and analyze how the results fits in the previous research. For example, your result will give that perceived usefulness is found to be a very important factor. Now you connect with the previous literature. In such and such paper, this factor is found to be a very important or unimportant, whatever it is. You have to connect it with the previous research also in the discussion section. Third, mention and discuss any unexpected result. If you find any unexpected result, just mention it. Describe the result and provide reasonable interpretation why you have it has appeared. If you find unexpected result, you have to provide the reasons of this result interpretation. Okay. The last part of the paper which you write is the conclusion. Till now, any doubt? Any doubt, students? It is the easy part, I think. Second, last one is the conclusion portion. Conclusion are often the last section of your audience reads, as they are just as important as introduction. See, introduction and conclusion, these are very important part of the paper. They are your final opportunity to leave a good impression to the reader. The reader get impressed either by reading the introduction or by reading the conclusion. Even you as a scholars or researchers, you are most interested in the conclusion part. Okay. So you just come down to the conclusion. The reason is conclusion is one of the smallest section and it gives you the brief crux of the paper. What is the conclusion of this paper? Some academic readers even jump to read the conclusion to help them decide if they should read the whole paper or not. I think you also do. Okay. They can be the most challenging part of the research paper to write, but it is very difficult to write conclusion because conclusion is the concise, the summary of the whole paper, what you have, you are concluding it. It is one of the very challenging part to write the conclusion. The conclusion serves to provide a concise summary of the key findings, their significance, their implication, and sense of closure to the study. Because you are closing the paper, so you are providing something to the reader so that it will be helpful for them. By reading the conclusion, they can decide that what are the benefits of this research, what the person has done. So in terms of conclusion, you have to look for significant simplifications of this research. The research paper conclusion should explain the significance of your findings, within the broader context of the field. It restates how your results contribute to the existing body of knowledge, whether they confirm or challenge. Okay. So in this way, conclusion, you are what you are doing, you are summarizing your findings. Whatever the findings you have done, you are summarizing in and trying to connecting it with the general audience, like what is the benefit of this research? Why you have done it? What is the benefit for the policymakers? What is the benefit of general audience? Why you are doing this? So it is a very challenging part which should be taken care of where you are writing the conclusion. When writing the conclusion to your paper, follow these general rules. And what are these rules? When you have to follow while writing the conclusion, first is present your conclusion in clear, simple language. Do not write very hard, very fishy languages. Okay. Try to write a simple and clear language. Restate the purpose of your study. And then you have to also provide the purpose of your study. First of all, why you are doing this study. Let's see in the conclusion, always you see the people write, the aim of the study was to conduct this and this, and we have done this, and this is our findings, and this is our recommendations. So first of all, you have to restate the purpose of your study. Then describe how your findings differ or support those of other studies and why. So you have to describe it, how your findings are supporting the previous studies or not. Do not simply reiterate your findings or the discussion of your results. Do not write it again and again. Provide a synthesis of arguments presented in the paper to show how these converge to address a research problem and the overall objective of your study. Do not write findings in your conclusion again and again. Try to write something crux of the findings related to the objectives and the scope of the study and the research questions of the study. Do not write again the findings. Try to find out whatever the crux from the findings, write it in the conclusion. Okay. The reader is not interested to read again and again your findings because you have to provide the results in the findings. You're providing some summary in the discussion also. If you are putting in the conclusion again, then the reader get confused. What's happening? Nothing new I'm finding in the conclusion. No? The people is repeating their work again and again. So that's why you have to show something unique in the conclusion part, that is a crux of your findings and your in aligning with the research objectives. Indicate opportunities for future research if you have already done. Like I'll discuss in the next slide. Okay. So till now we have covered uh, this part. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? See the paper. In this paper, this is the conclusion part. This is the result. Now we are coming on the implications part. Implications. What are implications? Anyone can tell what are implications? Any idea? What is implication? No one? Have you ever heard this word implication? Okay. So let me explain what is an implication. One message, I think. What can be implied from a work for future use? Very good. Admit. Okay. Right, Ruchi, you have written right. Admit. I'm gonna join late. Okay, you very well said that implications is something which we have to imply. Okay. A research paper that does not explain the study importance in light of its findings exists in vacuum. Just remember, if your findings, if your results are not relevant, not important in light of the findings, exist in vacuum. It means if your results are not providing any knowledge, body of knowledge, anything important, then what is the logic of doing that research? Okay, so they state how your research finding could affect policies, theories, or practices. So when your research will affect certain policy makers, they will help some policy makers, theory builders, or some practical knowledge will be obtained from your research, then definitely your research have certain implications. Implication can either be practical or theoretical. We'll discuss in detail. So implication is just like what are the benefits we are getting from the results of your research. That are the implications. How can the findings of your study help to create a better world? That is an implication. What are the findings you have done? How it can help to make a better world? I take an example of smart homes, for example. Someone is doing a research on smart homes, smart cities, and there is a certain resistance while implementing these strategies of smart homes. Maybe there are certain barriers, certain factors are hindering the government to implement the smart home in any nation. Some researcher do a research on smart home and they studied some factors and they obtained what are the factors affecting the adoption of smart homes by the general people. For example, they found a factor that is technological anxiety. Okay, yeah, technology anxiety. Some of the people have some technology anxiety. They are resistant to the technology. So if they have find out this factor as one of the important variables, they can write an implication and suggest the policy maker so that the government can rephrase its policies in the light of these implications and can help the government to realign its policies and implement their projects in for the general people. So that's why if your findings are very helpful to create a better world, it means it has implications. That's why most of the research papers are asking for implications. Without the implications, they don't consider your research. Okay. In your thesis also you have to write implications. Without implications, your thesis or your work is zero. Got it? Okay. Now see what are practical implications. Practical implications in a research paper refers to the real world applications or consequences of the study findings. It means whatever you have done, it can be practically applicable than it is a practical application. Mainly you see if you find during the COVID, lots of the people have done research, they have created a vaccine which can resist the virus of COVID. So this vaccine is a practical implication. It can be used in a real world application. So these applications address how the research results can be used or applied in practical settings such as policy making. For example, you have done certain research on like labor management. So that policy, that research can be used for designing the policy of labor management for the policymakers, for professional practice or everyday decision making. Okay. So what's your research? It is if it is used in a practical way, it is known as practical implications. Practical implications provide insights into the significance and relevance of the research beyond academic circle, okay, and highlights its potential impact on society, organizations, or individuals. So whenever your results of the research are relevant and provide significance beyond the academic circle, it means beyond your academic usage. If it is applied in practically, then it is having a practical implication. For example, if a research study investigates the effectiveness of a particular teaching method, okay, on a student learning outcome, we are studying a problem where we are investigating effectiveness of teaching method on student outcome. The practical implication may include recommendation for educators to adopt or modify their teaching strategies based on the study finding. So that type of study, if you have, it has practical implications, and it is very much highly appreciated if your research findings have certain practical implications. Got it? Someone. Okay. Is it clear? So this is the practical implications of our research paper. Then we have some theoretical implications. Theoretical means, are your findings in line with previous research? Whatever you have find, whatever you have observed, whatever you interpreted, are they in line with the previous research? Did your research validate the methods used in previous research or invalidate them? Okay. Has your study discovered a new or helpful way to do experiments? These are the questions which give the answer that there is a theoretical implications. Okay. Example of theoretical implications means you added a new variable to the theory. For example, I was working on TOE model. TOE means technology, organization, environmental model. Most of the researchers has worked on TOE model, that is an adoption model. It is used in technology adoption. I worked on this model and many papers. So while doing research on this model, I found that one of the factor that is missing, that is the individual factor. The paper have focused on technological factors, organizational factors, environmental factors, but they left the individual factor. It means the people who are adopting this technology, they are not even considered in the research. So that's why I have created a new variable to my theory that now it become TOEI model. So it is a theoretical implication. So it could cover a broad perspective. Now my model is modified from the TOE to TOEI, and it is more robust to calculate the uh, results. Okay, to calculate the better results. So that is a theoretical implication. The main difference between practical and theoretical implication is that theoretical implication may not be readily helpful to policymakers or the public, right? Sometimes the difference between them is theoretical implications are totally academic implications. It will provide value addition to the literature, existing literature, but they are not, sometimes they are not readily helpful for the policymakers. Policymakers or managers basically are more focused towards the practical implications. Okay. Theoretical implications in a research paper refer to the broader significance of the study findings for theoretical frameworks, concepts, debates within the academic disciplines or the fields. So when we are adding a new theory to the research, when we are adding a new framework to the research, new dimensions, new variables, they are the theoretical implications, but they are not directly helping the managers or the policymakers. Policymakers and managers are more concerned towards the practical application of your research. Got my point? So is it clear? What are the implications in a paper? Let's see. These are the implications in any paper. Theoretical implications. Then we have managerial implication is also part of practical implications. Okay. Clear? These two parts are all clear in this presentation. Any doubt till now? Yes. Yes, Bhavna, Manisha, Sangeeta. Any students have any doubt till now in the implications part? Because without implications, you have to face many problem in paper submission. Without implication, they will not accept your paper. Okay. So after implications, let's move to the next section of the paper, that is the limitations, and one of the very small section of the paper. Limitation ko we consider as a very small section. In the research limitation section of your conclusion chapter, you have inevitably detailed the potential flaws. What are your limitations of your dissertation, of your project, of your thesis, of your research paper? What are your constraints? What limits you to do it? That is your limitation. It's an inability to answer your research questions. For example, questions, that is also your limitation. Theoretical and conceptual problems you face, that is your limitation. Limitation of your research strategy. Whatever strategy you use, it is your limitation because you are unable to explore the whole population. You are focusing on the small sample population, that is your limitation. Problems of research quality. Whatever the uh, respondents you are using, they are not providing the good feedback, that is your limitation. You are focusing on a small region, that is your limitation. Your limitation is your time constraint. Your limitation is your funding if you are working on a project. So there are many limitations. Sometimes limitations can also be a spark for the future researcher. They take that limitation and can also make a paper for that. Okay. For example, we are working on HR practices. So when we are working on HR practices, we cannot cover the higher officials. We just take the interviews of the lower officials. So that is your limitation because they didn't give the time. CEOs, board of directors, you cannot take time. They are so busy. You cannot cover all the CEOs. So that is your limitations. Okay. Last part, that is a recommendation and future research direction. It is one of the very um, appealing part because you need to propose four, five suggestions for future research directions. Future research directions means when a researcher reads your paper, they can take some help, some directions from your paper so that he can do further research, taking your research as a background, okay, as a beginning. So these are your suggestions which you provide for the future researchers. Yes, take this part. I have not covered on this part. You can go ahead and you will find more results because I don't have the time to work on this. So you can take it. Okay. So building upon findings of your research, addressing limitation of your research, constructing the same research in the context, location, culture. One of you say that my limitation was I don't have funds, so I'm covering a very small population of this area only. You can cover in a worldwide or a region wise, whatever it is. Okay, or if I'm covering the one area of this topic, you can cover the different area of this topic. So this is the recommendations we generally provide for the future researchers. The last part is the author profile. Author profile is whenever you are submitting your paper to a journal, the journal asks you for your author profile. Author profile is not your CV, it is just a brief introduction of yours. So that when the journal produces the research paper, it should be there in the journal itself. Any reader can read your profile and can approach you for collaborations, for help, and for guidance also. So that's why your author profile should be made keeping in mind. So key component every author should include in their bio is the first in importance where you are from and where you live. It means the local researcher can contact you, they can collaborate with you, they can approach you easily if you are writing where you are from, from where your affiliation is. It is one of the important part. Or some foreign authors wants to collaborate with you, so they can consider like researching with India, research doing collaboration with America. So they can search from the author list and they can approach you. Second is the relevant personal background information about your research. This can be cultural, geographical, and personal information. Some background information, but not much in detail. Next is the themes you love to write about. It means whatever themes you are working on, what your current area, what's your research area, what interest you have to write about it so that anyone can approach you for suggestion of a guidance. Okay. Relevant qualification and experience you have to write. Obviously, if anyone wants to make you a guide, he definitely consider your qualification and experience. If you have a large experience, your qualification, then he can approach you, he or she can approach you, reading your qualification and experience. Any awards you have won or publication, you have been featured in author with little or no experience you have yet. But if you do, your bio is a great place to feature them. If you have something which is to be represented, definitely represent in your author profile. The more concise and rich your author profile is, the more chances of collaborations will be there, and the more chances of paper acceptance will be there. Today, we will see that if we have collaboration with good professors, then definitely the editor will also consider it, and definitely he will look into it for. When you are submitting your paper, the journal asks you with the ORCID ID. ORCID ID. Anyone? What is ORCID ID? Yeah. Tell me, what is ORCID ID? Do you know? Ruchika? Bhavna, any about Orchid ID?
Sir, in research area, as of now, I'm not very much clear about it,
Hmm.
but this is something which you need to have a specific OCID ID for giving your research papers everywhere, because when you have a profile,
Hmm.
then this is mandatory,
So it
I think.
Yes,
basically
good.
is a exclusive. It is an exclusive ID which is assigned to a particular researcher only, and through that ID, they can access all the
Yes.
number of papers that they have published.
See, if you see on research, like if you write any name of a person or you look for a person in Google Scholar or ResearchGate or other platforms, you write a name of a person, you find numerous researchers of its name. If you write Ruchika in ResearchGate, I found many Ruchika, but I don't know who I'm looking for. Okay, so but as a researcher, it will be create a confusion that this paper is mine, this paper is mine. So just to resolve this situation, Orchid ID is there. Orchid ID is a unique ID. It is widely accepted unique identifier for the researcher. It's an ID which is allotted to you, and for this ID, you can be identified. Your paper should be identified. You can say that this is my paper because it have my Orchid ID. Okay, so that's why Orchid ID is a unique identifier researcher author. It is the simplest numerical identifier. In this way, this you have the Orchid ID. It is this way. Each researcher author should have only one orchid. You cannot have more than one. You should have one which will stay the same over their lifetime. Once you made an orchid ID, it will be your lifetime. It will never change. Okay. Let me show you orchid ID. See, this is the website of orchid here. Okay. In this conducting research and researches. So I suggest all of you, before going to the research publishing, always create a research ORCID ID. Just register here, sign into your ORCID ID. You have to register here. Don't have an ORCID. Okay. Your name, your family name, your email address, option email address, next step. After there are certain registration process you will do, and your ORCID ID will be created in few minutes. And what will be the format of the ORCID ID? It is a digital format like in four 16 words, 16 digits the ID you will be allotted by the ORCID. So it will be unique and it will remain all time throughout your lifetime. And whenever you will publishing, you will use it. So ORCID ID is nothing, it's a identification. Now, the last is the references. References means whenever we write a paper, we have to provide certain references. References is this one, last one, this one, this. These are the references. So my question is, what is the difference between references and citations? Anyone?
So citations are basically that we give inside our research paper,
Hmm.
and references is everything from where we have cited that. So it computes the details of all the authors when it was published.
Right, correct. References are the full text, full detail of the paper, research paper. Citations are just like the in-text citations you are creating it, the short form of paper, the short form of article you are writing in between the paper, that is the citations. But reference is the detailed description of the source. Okay, we can use different. How we are citing the paper? We are citing the paper through various tools, or we can do manually also. One of the tool I am just giving you, that is a citation machine. You can use for citing the paper. In citation machine, you will find create citations. Okay, it is an easiest tool. If you want to cite a website, click on website. If you want to cite a book, journal, or newspaper, film, database, advertisement, whatever you want to cite it, there are lots of options available. You can cite it. Okay. For example, I want to cite a journal. I click on the journal. Now I search journal by DOI or title. For example, this is my research paper which I am looking for. Okay. Systematic review and analysis of factors affecting e-commerce adoption and assimilation. For example, I write paper, a title. Okay, we will search for different papers. Now I'll searching out with which is the paper I'm looking for. Okay, I can select it. For example, I'm looking for this paper, uh, factors affecting e-commerce in Ghana. So I click site. When I click site, it will show the journal title, publication year July, publication date, article type. Now continue. After that, it will show the whole detail. If you want to change it, you can change it here. It will show the author name, first name, second name, third name, whatever it is. Now after that, you find this okay. You click complete citation. Complete citation in which format you want, in APA, in MLA, in Chicago, in 3D research. Well, we want in APA. Mostly citation in social science is in APA. So this is the citation. This is whole reference. This is whole reference. This one. So you can copy it. Or if you want to copy in-text citation, copy in-text citation. This is the in-text citation. Is it clear? You can copy it. If you want to copy the whole research, you can copy the copy citations, fully copied. And you can paste it in the paper where you want to paste it. Like here, this is one. Okay, references. This is one of the way we use citation machine. Second way, we cite it through Google Scholar also. In Google Scholar, whenever you click on a paper and you find e-commerce adoption. So here in the paper, you see these arrows, click cite. You will find the paper full reference in different formats. MLA, APA, Chicago, Harvard. Okay. One thing you will observe that here in the last you will find BibTeX, EndNote, RefMan, RefWorks. If you click on EndNote, a file is downloaded. This one. What is this file? This is a reference manager file. Like the reference manager, there are different type of reference manager. I'm using EndNote, Zotero, Mendeley. There are so many reference manager. So sometimes this will be a very hectic procedure for all of us to copy and paste. So we use reference manager software for referencing our work. Okay. So it's better you should use Mendeley. Mendeley is one of the good reference management and it is easy. You can download it and you can reference using Mendeley. Okay, it's a good one. Got it? References is cleared. Any doubt till now? So we have different styles of referencing. Generally, APA, Harvard, Chicago. Most most in the social science researches, we use APA style of referencing. If you want to read more about APA style of referencing, just go to the OWLPURSUE APA citation. You will find a complete detail about the APA style referencing in this website. Purdue University is a very good website. It will tell you about all the API formatting, in-text citation, author, reference lists, so many. Got it? In this way, you can easily find the references and you can quote it in your research paper. Because, see, whenever paper will come to a reviewer checks two important things. If your reference style is wrong, he will reject your paper automatically. So this portion we have covered. Now immediately I am coming on to the second presentation, that how to target the journal. Till now, any problem, just ask me. Very quickly we will covering the second portion. Any doubt, any problem, any questions, any student? Secondly, if any student want, I have also prepared a guidebook for you for this presentation. And if you want me to share this guidebook with you, then what you have to do, you have to write me an email requesting me to submit this guidebook or the presentation with you. Then only I'll be able to circulate with you. And in email, I want your feedback. That is very much important for me. Whatever the feedback, what is the fair feedback you think, you can share with me. This is my email ID. Okay. This is my email ID. If you want the reference notes for this presentation, the whole presentation which you have made, you have to email me with the feedback, and I will be sharing with you the whole presentation plus the whole uh, guidebook which I have prepared for understanding this PowerPoint presentation, which will be circulated with you. Okay. Now come on to the second part of the presentation. How to select a journal in submission process. Still now, any questions? Any doubt?
So,
Okay. I want to show you the reference management if I can. Just a second. Okay. So now let's start with the second part of our presentation, that is how to select a journal and submission process. So this is the research agenda, that is a research journal, predatory, clone journals, authentic journals, academic research database, quartile ranking, two research steps before making submission, reviews by the journal, review process, and submitting the manuscripts. So I'll try to cover it in a very fast mode because we have less time. So what is a research journal? Research journal, it is a periodical that contains articles written by the experts in a particular field of study who reports the result of the research in that field. Okay. So journals are regular publication that contains article on current research. So journal is basically the combination of research articles which are there, and the editor will select the article and publish it in the journal. Okay. Now the very important part, that is a predatory journal. Predatory means, anyone, any idea of the predatory journals? In India, we have lots of predatory journals. Because you guys will face this problem whenever you write a paper, you want to publish it in a journal, and the good journals will not accept your paper easily. So don't dishearten yourself. On the same hand, some journals will approach you and say, just send your paper, we will accept it. They will charge some money from you, and then your paper is selected and you got it. That type of journal who just work for the sake of money, and it's the wrong part, that it is known as predatory journal. Predatory journals are like just a scam. They are the scam. They are the fraud that involves unethical publications, collecting fee from the authors upfront, but do not follow through to a promised services. Okay. Some predatory journals simply take the money and run, never publishing the submitted article. They take the money, but they will not submit it into article in the journal. Other will publish the article, but without subjecting it to any vetting or peer review process. See, whenever we submit a paper in a journal, it goes through a certain steps. The first and the most important step is a peer reviews step. Peer reviews is where collect money from authors while delivering a poor product. They often use deceptive techniques to attract the authors, claim of quick peer review, fake editorial boards, hidden charges, and fake general impact factors are all the example of unethical behavior practiced by the predatory publishers. Even the UGC is very strict on this part on the predatory journals. Okay, so always take care before publishing any paper. Just check whether it is a predatory journal or not. If it is a predatory, your work is going into a dustbin. Literally, I'm saying, don't do it. Second, what are the clone journals? This is the second category of journals which we don't want to focus. That is the clone journals. Clone, also known as predatory or pseudo scientific journals. They are publications that mimic legitimate scholarly journals, but they do not adhere to the standard publishing practices or ethical guidelines. So that's why we are not interested in these type of journals. Let me share you with one of the UGC uh, website link that this is the clone. Clone means they are cloning. They are using the name of that journal just to just to make the student or the researcher cool. Like this is the original journal titled Abru. This is a clone version titled Abru Journal. This language is Punjabi. This is English and Punjabi. Publisher Baljeet Singh Rana. Same. ISBN number same. ISBN number same. URL नहीं है इसमें URL है. So these type of journals are known as clone journals. Got it? I'll show you the UGC care list. If you want to see the list of these journals, go to the UGC care list, this one, and click on the website. You will find this one. Alert, list of clone journals UGC care group 1. List of clone journal UGC care group 2. If you open it, you will find here. See, Atomic Spectromy Part C. This is a clone version. This is a website. This is also a different website. Click on it. You see how they are fooling the people. See about the journal. This is a clone journal. Okay, volume 45, number 1. Q2 category. They are showing Q2 category. Although it is a fraud. Got it? In this way, you should know what is a clone journal, what is a predatory journal before publishing your paper. Next one, authentic journals. So the question arises, so where should we publish our paper? If they are clone, if they are predatory, they are making us fool, then what are the authentic? So we have some publishers. These are the publishers. They have inbuilt authentic journals like Elsevier is a good publisher. Springer Nature is a good publisher. Wiley, Taylor and Francis, Sage, Indus Science, IEEE. These are some of the publishers. They publish good journals in their area, like Elsevier. Okay, this is Elsevier. You have some register it for tracking it. Submission system, Elsevier. Here you have to submit it. Here. Okay. So this is submit your paper. This is a full procedure. You can submit it. I'll come on this part again. Okay. So these are some of the authentic publishers which have good journals, authentic journals. Now come on the part where should we search for these papers, why their paper is right or wrong. So for this we have certain academic research database. These are the database from which we can search for papers. Like Scopus is a database. Web of Science is a database where we find papers. Science Direct. Yeah. When you click on the subject area, you will find this category like here. So we have, I am focusing on business and management and accounting. So I'll click on business and management accounting, and in business chemical engineering I'm not focusing, computer science I'm not focusing. So on business and management I am concerned with business intelligence, general business, MIS, MTS, marketing, strategy, apply. Okay. When I apply it, it will give me the list of certain journals. 2196 journals are there in management field. So many journals. Now I just want to check the highest percentile. This is the highest percentile journal. Okay. This is the Academy of Management Review. Now I'll just want to check about journal. I'm coming on the fifth part, like Asia Pacific General Management. I click on it. I just want to read about this journal. Okay. So this paper is Scopus coverage from 1983 to present. It means it is Scopus indexed. What do you mean? It is Scopus indexed. Some journals you will find is not indexed in Scopus. It was, but now it is not. So that type of journals are known as it is not Scopus index. For example, labor. Now let's search for the paper. It is also Scopus indexed. See, publisher Emerald Publishing. In this, who is the publisher? Springer Nature. Okay, you will find a site score from this, SGI score, SNIP score. In this way, you able to find out what is the value of this journal. Got it? You or everyone can do that. No need to have a Scopus login for this. You can find your area of your the journal of your area easily. If you are looking for only marketing, you can search for marketing. Delete it from the filters. 276 journals are from marketing area. Okay, journal of marketing 99%. It is a very high impact journal. See, got it? Got about the journals? You can easily search for your paper. Now, the next part is what's journal quartile ranking. This is the last part I'm just covering for this presentation. What is the journal quartile and ranking of a research journal? A quartile is a ranking of a journal of a paper defined by any database based on an impact factor. Okay, so every journal has an impact factor, citation, indexing. So that particular journal it can divide into four different quadrants. We are just categorizing the paper into four parts, like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So these are the ranking of the paper. Q1 is the first position of the top 25% of the journals. Submission in the journal acceptance is very low. Q2 is the middle high position, subsequent occupied with 25%. Q3 is the middle low position, and Q4 is the lowest category journal, but they are also good journal. So these are the ranking of the journals on the paper Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Where you will find the ranking? SJMR. You go Schemago Journal Finder. Schemago Journal Finder is a ranking of the journal. They provide you the different ranking of the journal. For example, I write here which journal? Let me check this one. Annals of Tourism Research. I put it here. Annals of Tourism Research. Network problem. Just give me a second. Yes. The Journal of Mental Health, it is a United Kingdom journal, Emerald, publication, IS number, scope, and this is the quartile. So this paper is in Q4 in 2007, then Q3 then Q4, then Q3, Q4, and 2001, 21, Q3. So still now it is in the Q3 category. Okay. Journal of Mental Health, 46% international ranking, and this is the ranking of this journal. The citations are per documents are increasing day by day. So in this way, you are able to find out the different ranking and importance of the journals. The crucial step before submitting. Whenever you are submitting your paper in any journal, the most important step you are doing is run a plagiarism checker. If you are submitting your paper without a plagiarism check, you will definitely got a blow from the editor, because sometimes plagiarism is a very important. If you didn't check and submit your paper, if there's a plagiarism, it will reject it automatically from the desk. The desk rejected. Secondly, prepare your artwork. Any artwork in a paper, including charts, images, graphs, it should be communicate to your result. It should be very designed neatly and clearly. Check your formatting requirements. Always go to the journal website, see is they if they provide any formatting structure. If they provide, then only rephrase or realign your paper as per the requirements of the journal. Otherwise, the journal will just rejected automatically your paper. Okay, most of the journals have certain formats, like they have some templates for writing the paper, so you can download the template and align your paper as per the template, so that your paper is as per the alignment of that journal, and then you can submit it. So there will be high chances of uh, overcoming the dash reject, because dash rejects of journals are mainly due to these 3 points. Okay, then we have four different views. First time you have submit the journal and they have clear the desk reject. Now, what are the different steps involved by the editor when your paper is under process? The first is the desk reject. When you submit a journal, 15 days you got a mail, your paper is rejected. This is when editor reject the article simply because it doesn't fit the journal scope. If you publish a paper in a journal which is not in the scope of your paper, then definitely the reviewer or the editor reject it. That is known as desk reject. He didn't send the paper to the reviewers. Okay. Second option, it will be there. They will accept it and submit to the three reviewers, and three reviewers will review your paper and provide the comments. On the basis of this, your paper will be accepted. You got the result that your paper is accepted. This is a review, not even the long-term publisher. Or your paper is rejected by the reviewers. They find certain problems in your paper, they reject it simply. Next option will be they will suggest some revision and resubmission option. They will give some revise and resubmit it so that you can revise it. Okay, they will provide certain comments to you. Okay, this is the comment, you have to modify it. In this way, your paper will be submitted. So they will give you some time. So you should revise it and resubmit it. Then there will be a chances of submission, but not sure it will be accepted or rejected. So the review process of any journal will include various processes. When you submit the manuscript, the editor will check whether it meets all the submission criteria. There are four main peer review types. The first is the single blinded, second is double blinded, open peer, transparent peer. So there are different types of review process with the journals are using. In single peer, this is when the researchers who review the paper who wrote it, but the writer doesn't know who the reviewers are. Okay. Double blinded may when neither the reviewer nor the author know who is doing the work. They don't know each other. It's a double blinded period. So our UGC is focusing on double blinded peer reviewed journals. Always try to publish a paper in a double blind review journal. Don't focus on open peer. Open peer is a type where the reviewers know who is reviewing their paper, because there's a chance of biasness. So never send your paper to the open peer. Transparent peer, in this case, the reviewer know the author who is, and the author doesn't know who is reviewing the paper. So this is the less quality paper. Transparent peer. We never focus on this. Okay. So you know what are the different peer process? In this way, my presentation is approximately is completed. If you have any doubt, you can ask me from the related to journals. Yes. Any doubt till now about the journals? How to submit it? Yes, guys, please.
No, so it's clear.
Okay, so if you want the presentation, what I've said, if you want the presentation of this, you have to send me an email. I'll share the presentation with you. Okay, and also prepare the books of notes for you. I'll share with it so that it will be helpful for all of the students. This is the if I found certain books also I will share. This is the research notes I have prepared for you. This is the detailed description of my research presentation which I have made. It will be helpful for all of you. If you want, you just send me your feedback, and definitely, whatever the feedback it is, it should be true, and so that it will help me to improve, or on what point I should cover more in my future presentation. So it will help me to improve my working. I want the feedback on my email ID, and whenever you email me, I'll give you the notes and plus the presentation. I'll share it. Okay, so just any doubt, any problem, you can ask me. I'm there.
Good evening. I request you all to please switch on your cameras. We are now proceeding with our valedictory. Can you please switch on your cameras? Okay, let's begin. The only impossible journey is the one you never begin. The famous quote of Anthony Robbins. Good evening, one and all present here. I, Tomina Cherian, member of Center for Training and Development, on behalf of the entire fraternity of the center, would like to welcome the chairperson of CTD, Professor Dr. Reshma Nasreen, Honorary Director, Professor Dr. Sayyidun Nisa Ma'am, Principal of Islamia Women's Arts and Science College, Dr. M. Renu, esteemed resource persons from Jamia Hamdard, faculty members of Islamia College, and the dear participants. It's an honor to have you all here at the end of our FDP on research methodology. Before proceeding further to the valedictory session, I would like to extend my gratitude to our esteemed Chancellor, Mr. Hamad Ahmad Saab, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Afshar Alam. This workshop would not have been possible without their support. Moving ahead, in brief, I would like to state that there were 40 participants in total for this workshop, 39 from Pan India and one from University of Melbourne. I hope this FDP on research methodology have given shape to your ideas with a great understanding on the terminologies of scientific inquiry and research process, which would have helped you to begin your research journey smoothly. Now let us hear to what the participants have to say regarding the workshop. I invite Dr. P. Kavita, Assistant Professor of Islamia Women's Arts and Science College, to give her testimonial. Ma'am, please. Kavita, ma'am. I think she's not here online. Can I request any of the participants, if you can please give us your feedback regarding the workshop? If anybody interested to do the same? We would appreciate if you can please give your feedback. Yes, Ruchika.
You are on mute, Ruchika.
Thank you, Rajat. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you for organizing this workshop, and definitely it has brought a better clarity of how, especially like today, sir told about it, how we have to begin with writing a research paper. So a lot of clarity was there that how we need to start writing a research paper. Uh, how we have to narrow down the research problems. Then the quantitative part that was taken by other resource persons was also very informative. We got to learn about a lot of technicalities in SPSS and other correlation regression tools. So definitely it was an add-on, very value addition for a new research scholar to gain insights through this workshop. Thank you.
Miss Domina, you are on mute.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes, Bhavna, you want to give your feedback?
Bhavna, you're on mute.
First of all, very good afternoon to each and everyone, and thank you so much, our respected faculty teachers. And it was pleasure to attend such a wonderful seminar. My a lot of doubts were cleared regarding SLR, SPSS, hypothesis, and how to find the which journal is best and which is not. A lot of clarity is there in my mind, and I think it is very helpful for my other fellow research scholars as well. A big thank you and a great thumbs up to each and everyone. Thank you so much, ma'am, for conducting this wonderful research. It's amazing. It was amazing session. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavna. And we also appreciate the interactions you had with our faculty members. Few were really very interactive, and we appreciate that also. Anybody else who wants to give the feedback? To express a heartfelt thank you to everyone involved in this workshop, I invite Dr. Sadab Siraj to render vote of thanks.
Thank you, Tomina. Dear participants, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who played a role in making our 5-day research methodology workshop a resounding success. First and foremost, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. M. Afshar Alam, always being there as our mentor and pillar of support. Our sincere appreciation goes to Professor Dr. Reshma Nasreen, Chairman, Center of Training and Development, and Director Professor Saidun Nisa for their generous support, without which the workshop would not have been possible. I would like to extend my gratitude to all the resource persons, namely Dr. Shikha Gera, Ms. Manpreet Kaur Kohli, and Dr. Mansoor Ahmad, for sharing their expertise and guiding us through the intricacies. Thanks to Ms. Tomina Cherian and Dr. and tireless efforts behind the scenes. I would like to extend my gratitude to all the resource persons, namely Dr. Shikha Gera, Ms. Manpreet Kaur Kohli, and Dr. Mansoor Ahmad, for sharing their expertise and guiding us through the intricacies of research methodology. A special thanks to Ms. Tomina Cherian and Dr. Abdullah for their meticulous planning and tireless efforts behind the scenes to ensure that everything goes smoothly. To all the participants, Your active engagement and eagerness to learn have truly made this workshop memorable. The exchange of ideas and experiences has fostered a dynamic learning environment that has enriched us all. As we conclude this enriching journey, let us carry forward the knowledge and skills acquired here to fuel our future research endeavor. Together, let's continue the pushing boundaries of knowledge and innovation in our respective fields. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of appreciation and encouragement as well. I now inform all the participants that we will be sharing a feedback form to you through online. I will be sending you the email, and I request each and every one of you to please fill the feedback and send it back to me. E-certificates also will be provided, but we will be definitely looking on to the attendance. 75% of the attendance was mandatory for the workshop. We will get in touch with you regarding that also. And all the recordings, all the possible recordings along with the materials will be also shared with you through email. Wishing you all the very best as you embark the research journey. Keep learning.